The thing about this card, Dragonfire Potion, is it's like the AoE Control Priest really needs. So right now the problem with Control Priest is they have very weak AoE, and for a Control class, you cannot have weak AoE. Like every single Control class has to have strong AoE, you know, especially stuff that hits both sides of the board, because when a spell hits both sides of the board, like Hellfire, is usually stronger than when a spell usually only hits one side of the board, like Flame Strike. So Dragonfire Potion is like, it's a better card than Flame Strike is for Control decks if you don't care about wiping your own board. And that's saying a lot, because Flame Strike's very good. Dragonfire Potion is better than Light Bomb ever was. The weakness of Dragonfire Potion is it can't kill like 8/8s, whereas Light Bomb could, but the payoff, or also you can't kill the dragons, which is relatively small, but it kills like, you know, all, you know, three 5s, all the totems, Mana Tide Totem, Flame Tongue Totem. It's just, this card is so good. And since Priest only AoE is like combo right now, like Pyromancer combos or Arcanized Circle, unless you go into like weaker AoE like Excavated, which doesn't really do enough sometimes. So I think this can really give Control Priest what it needs. So I think it's a metagame changer. Also, it's a huge power boost for Dragon Priest, because Dragon Priest also likes to run, you know, some kind of stuff, and especially since this is asymmetrical board clear, it's like, it's asymmetrical power in power since it deals 5 damage to everything for 6 mana, but it's actually, no, it's symmetrical. I don't know why I keep saying asymmetrical. It's a symmetrical board clear, but it's actually kind of asymmetrical for Dragon Priest because you don't hurt your own dragons. So I think this card will be very, very good in both types of Priest. There's another Dragon Priest card I'm talking about, so I'm not going to really talk too much specifically about Dragon Priest right now. My next card for the top 5 is Mistress of Mixtures. This card is a reason to play Control. Like, normally when I'm looking at these like metagame changers, it's like one card that's incentivizing you to play a certain archetype, and I think this is the card that really is pushing people to play Control. It's not a legendary, so you can play 2 of them in non-Reno decks. Yeah, I think it'll be very likely playing in Reno decks as well, just as a one-of, because it's that good. But it's basically, it slows down the game a lot for a 1-mana card, because it's a 1-mana card you can play on turn 1 that you can trade pretty well. Like, say, this plus Mage can trade very well with the Tunnel Trog, for example. It slows down the game a lot. It's always good all game. It's not just good at turn 1, but it's very good all game because you have the same Battle Cry effect as a Refreshment Vendor for 1 mana, so it's basically a 1-mana Refreshment Vendor. 1 mana 2/2 is better than 4 mana 3/5 as well. Definitely, it's like a driving force beyond Control. Draconid Operative. So I want to talk about Dragon Priest. I think Dragon Priest after this patch is the strongest that Dragon Priest ever has been, and maybe ever will be, because we're right now in a sweet spot. Right before BRM rotates out, and BRM was very dragon heavy. A lot of dragons in BRM, you know, Blackwing Corruptor, Blackwing Technician, I think Dragon, like, it was a lot. I think Chillmaul is there. So once these cards rotate out, I think dragons are going to be weaker again, but like for the next 2-3 months, I think we're in a sweet spot where it's like all the dragons are not rotated out, and we have even more dragons coming. Normally, if you look at, like, normally dragon cards are divided into 2 halves. There's the dragon cards, which are okay, and then there's cards that benefit from holding a dragon in your hand, like Blackwing Corruptor, which is very good. Yeah, there's not a lot of cards that are both, and the cards that are both aren't necessarily that strong, and they're still very good, like Bookworm and Twilight Guardian, right? It's just a 4 mana 3/6 and a 6 mana 3/6 with the Destroy card. So those cards are like core cards in most dragon decks, and they're not, like, because they benefit both. They're both dragons and they have that special ability. And this card is like the same. It's also a dragon. So it's a 5 mana 5/6 dragon, which is already pretty high in the stats for a dragon. You know, it has a tag dragon, so usually you have to go down the stats a little bit, because 5 mana 5/6 isn't anything special. So not only is it 5 mana 5/6 dragon, you have the Battle Cry, discover a card in your opponent's deck if you're holding a dragon. So this gives Dragon Priest a lot of playing room, because this kind of effect, because it's discover, you can pick the highest value card a lot, and against control decks, you're mostly gonna, like, they're gonna have high value cards as well. So meaning you don't really need a lot of, like, you can grind a lot of control decks out as Dragon Priest just by running Draconid Operative and maybe Nether Spite Technician, like the 2 mana 1/3 that discover a dragon. So you have pretty much like these 4 cards of Battlecry. You discover like either a dragon or a card in your opponent's deck, and you can pretty much not run any cards like Ysera, like super greedy cards, and you'll still have a good mana curve. Then you have the Dragonfire Potion combined with how powerful Dragon Priest can be, and you have cards like Cabal Talon Priest, which benefits Dragon Priest a lot if you're playing, just strong minions every turn, like 1 mana 2/3s, Twilight Whelps, and Wormrust Agents, so you actually can curve out. I think it's going to be a strong deck. Then even if you fall behind, you have Dragonfire Potion as well, which is nice because it's a 1 mana card that clears the board instead of having to operate in combos. Pretty excited about that deck. My next card, so the 4th card I'm talking about, is Eye of Blackpaw. The reason why I think this is good is I think this is the reason to play like the faction, or at least the Jade Golem part of this. Like, I think this is meta changing because it's like the driving force behind Jade Golem decks. Like, in my opinion, Jade Golem decks are not worth playing without Eye of Blackpaw. They're slow. You're getting up tempo for cards later, for power later. But Eye of Blackpaw, because it's like 1 card that's 2 Jade Golems, and if you look at the stats, 6 mana 5/3. So even if you played 1 Jade card before, you get a 6 mana 5/3, 2/2, and 3/3. Like, that's so many stats, and that also benefits your Jade Golem cards later, because then your next Jade Golem is going to be a 4/4. So this is assuming you played even 1 Jade Golem card before, right? And if you count all that power together, 2/2, 3/3 is 5/5, 10/8, I believe. So that's 6 mana for a 10/8 in stats. It's hard to say they're all together, but still, like, it's so good. Like, it's so powerful. It has synergy with both Battlecry and Death Rattle, so you can run it with Bran, you can run it with Zoth. So yeah, this is, I think, the entire driving force behind the Jade faction itself. Eye of Blackpaw is good enough where you don't need very many support cards for it to snowball Jade, whereas without this card you would need to play so many cards and you lose so much tempos. So my last card for the top 5 is Patches the Pirate. Again, I'm going to talk about, like, it's like a driving force in decks because these are very powerful decks, and I want to talk about them in a powerful way. So Patches, I think, could drive pirate decks to be tier 1, and it could also drive another archetype, which is like the gang up pirate archetype, because you can do turn 1, play anything, then you get Patches, like Sassy Deckhand, and then you can gang it up, and then play a pirate on turn 3, and you have like 3 1/1s that just like pops up all at once. So it's a really cool card. There hasn't really been cards like this in Hearthstone before because it's effectively free to add Patches the Pirate in a pirate deck. There's no downside unless you draw it in your opening hand before you play a pirate, but even then it's a 1 mana 1/1 charge, which is not, it's not that great, but it's not that bad either. So it's just like, it's effectively like, it's a card that almost kind of effectively says your opponent starts out the game with 25 health, because it's like another minion that you deal 1 more damage. It's pretty much something that adds to your deck for no cost, whereas every other card you need to draw it and you need to play it. This card you don't need to draw it and you don't need to play. All it needs to do is take up a slot in your deck, which is free because you're an aggro deck. You don't care if you have 29 cards instead of 30. In fact, it's better for you to have 29 cards. Like, aggro decks would probably only want to run 20 cards, since you can take out the worst 10 cards of a deck and add in the better ones. So again, this is the first of its name. Patches the Pirate, first of its name. Lord of the Andals. Pretty cool. I like it. I'm gonna have a 6th card. It's like my wild card pick. I don't know if it's as strong as the top 5, but I haven't noticed a lot of people talking about it. It's not been rated highly. I want to give out my wild card pick. I think I do want to talk about it because I think it's more powerful than people give it credit for. It's Grime Street Protector. So it's this card right here. It's a 7 mana 6/6 taunt that gives your adjacent minions Battlecry. It gives them Divine Shields. It's a Paladin card. I can really compare this card to Fire Elemental because if you look at Fire Elemental, which is a very good card, it's 6 mana for 6/5. So this costs 1 more mana and has taunt and 1 more health. And if you consider the Battlecry If you have any minion with more than 3 attack, you're kind of getting a Fire Elemental Battlecry because you're dealing 3 damage for something for free. And if you have 2 minions, so it's kind of really flexible because Fire Elemental is not really good against an empty board because there's no target other than face, whereas this is still good, right? You can play Divine Shield, you can play this with 2 minions and just kind of make your board stronger so they don't have to cash in the Divine Shield immediately. It's good no matter what. All you need to do is have at least 1 minion. Even with 1 decent sized mid-range minion, this is already very powerful. And with 2, it's like insane. Like say you have like 2 3/3s when you're playing Grimestream Protector. If you're counting each of the 3/3s Divine Shield as like a 3 battle cry, this Grimestream Protector 7 for 6/6 12 stats counts taunt as 1, so 13. Then you count each 3 as let's say 3 or 6. I mean, it's just like the numbers is insanely high on this card, I feel. And I think this is gonna make Paladin potentially competitive with other classes because like say you're playing against Jade decks and they're getting bigger and bigger, Jade golems, and now you have a Grimestream Protector. Well, you can play this to get crazy tempo swing. You can play this, you get a 6/6 with taunt, and you can potentially clear 2 of their minions and keep your board alive. Like that way you can start putting pressure on before the Jade cards overtake you. Kind of similar against other factions like Cabal. They're gonna have Reno and things like that, and all these cool potions, and it really solidifies your board with Divine Shield. Like I think this is really gonna be a solid card in Paladin. So yeah, that's my card review for the top 5 cards of the sleeper pick.